Welcome to the Strictly Business Podcast.
If anyone has been involved in the SEO space for at least a year and haven't heard about James, well, you're not reading a whole lot of SEO content because he's the face of SEO. He's everywhere. You'll learn a lot from him, and I'm sure he will share with you all these different ways you can find him at the end of this episode. James, welcome. Nice to have you.
Thank you, Andrew. I also follow you for information too. Don't just follow me. Follow Andrew Glyntzos, the Australian SEO professional.
Well, there's a few of us. Yeah, absolutely. This is the first episode of the Strictly Business in 2023. More to come. So James has let me grease the wheels, if you say, with a friendly conversation. James, what have you been working on that's interesting that you want to share? And you're coming up. You're a guest speaker coming up as well. So if you want to talk about a little bit about those two things.
Yeah, I mean, what are we working on? We're mainly working on SEO projects for clients, like SEO and content projects for clients. But then we're also working on our own affiliate sites when we have time. And then we're also doing a conference in April. So we've got a conference in Sydney trying to make it affordable, get down young SEOs, people that it's only going to be around $340 or $30. So yeah, it's going to be affordable and it's going to be good for everyone to come down to that. But that's like the main three things that we're working on. Yeah, it's just the conference, the affiliate stuff, and just doing SEO for clients and mainly mid to large businesses. Just like mid-sized business could be a smaller kind of company and like an enterprise level companies, all sorts of things, But yeah.
So what are you finding? What are some of your biggest challenges working with clients?
I think there's all sorts of challenges depending on the size of the client. Enterprise level clients, you probably have it will take a time to get things implemented. So like you could come up and do recommendations for an enterprise level client and they could be the best recommendations in the world, but you need to work out how long they're actually going to take to implement. That's one of the biggest things that I see with like bigger businesses. It's like delays to implement stuff. That's why I was talking about this on LinkedIn last week. You see these agencies that still do like a 200-page Word document and like with all the different issues that they've located and like, oh, you're missing like 5 alt tags or something idiotic like that. And a big business is like, I don't really care about the alt tags, what's the commercial impact of these changes? And sometimes you have to map like commercial impact to implementing the changes, like you say, by implementing this, the potential revenue is X, and then people start to get excited because they're like, oh, wow, like if we implement this stuff, we're going to make big dollars. We're not just going to be adding a few alt tags to some images, which is not going to have much of a commercial impact. But there's a lot of agencies that still do those massive audits that just hundreds of pages. And then I feel like a lot of clients and developers, they're too busy or they just don't want to look at that type of stuff, So that's one, just trying to prioritize changes, like when
I think that's important across the board.
It doesn't matter the size of the business.
Exactly.
If it's a big business, if it's a small business,
Agreed.
just telling people changes that are actually going to make a difference. I think that's one of the most important things. You don't want to push things through that are not going to be that are not going to be implemented. I think you want to work out what can realistically be implemented, how long is it going to take to be implemented, things like that, So when we do like tech audits, we kind of, we really try to just like itemize things in like batches or work out like the most crucial things and then talk to the team and then like just do like checklists and make it very simple and easy to read and understand and clear guidelines, stuff like that. Back to basics, this stuff it's not hard. It's just back to basics. And I think a lot of people try to overcomplicate certain areas of SEO where you just have to, just make things very easy for the client and make make the recommendations easy, show value. Sometimes you got to forecast what's the expectation on the growth and what can you expect from these changes. I think that's a big one, because sometimes that's the hardest sell with SEO is you don't have the you can't guarantee what it's gonna
No,
like
I was going to say
deliver.
exactly. Yeah,
But I still see people offering guaranteed SEO. Like
and I think it's difficult to map out what you're going to achieve with the changes at the same time of accurately forecasting you're going to receive 75% growth in 1 year, and that's going to result in an extra $1 million turnover. You're forecasting of a weatherman.
Well, exactly. Yeah, forecast with SEO, it's always going to be an estimation. That's what you have to let clients know. Like this forecast, it's an estimation, and then just have to be honest with people. There's a lot of people that sell SEO, and like even in today's market, and they still do like guaranteed results, guaranteed this, guaranteed that, and it's 2023, and you still hear that, because we all do a proposal for someone. We can include like a rough forecast, and then they say, "Oh, I got a proposal from someone else," and they said they're going to guarantee me this rank in this amount of time. And then you just say, like, honestly, like no one can do that. Here's a link from Google to their search quality guidelines, and this is what they say. Do not trust any SEO that guarantees XYZ, but people still fall for it, because it's just part of sales, like some people are just selling. That's how they sell SEO, through guarantees. And like you can search in Google and find a whole bunch of the SEO agencies that are still doing guarantees, there's many that sell that.
Yeah, big problem. And I think that's where education and I think conversations like this will keep the market educated, because what we've got to realize as SEOs is that even if we've talked about this a lot in the past, things change. People change jobs. People come in. It just keeps circulating. So we have to be talking about this continuously. One of the most frustrating challenges that I have is in 2022 was clearly and concisely predicting the revenue lost by not investing in content marketing. And basically, one of my clients that I had, he had a junior content writer in house, and I love clients that have internal content creators, because I will use those people as far as I can take them, right? And I will get them and I'll sit them down and be like, this is the direction we think we should go. Like, let me hear your ideas. This little junior content marketer turned around and said, I like your article about the XYZ popular whatever. How about if we do it this way and this way? I'm like, you know what, man? Whatever way we can build this piece of content to show the client the benefit tangibly, let's work together on it. This little article that we created generates only, you're talking thousands and thousands of pages. But this was just a little experiment that I did with an internal content creator. And he wrote an article. Look, it was about a 6 out of 10. We published it. It generates every month $3,500 to $4,000 of revenue. And we haven't even started to begin on content marketing UX. And that's what I'm very passionate about. Not just creating content, but how it's actually structured and presented is a huge passion of mine this year. But that little win that gets $3,500 to $4,000 every month since August of 2022, the client's like, oh yeah, how much more can we invest? Why did that article win? So we had to build this little mini case study. They were very excited because they actually saw revenue numbers. Never mind the fact that I got a couple of keywords ranking that was like 60, 70, 80,000 searches per month first, but they were very excited about that. And that's also really cool for me. So I think sometimes demonstrating value with real numbers, even whatever win you can. And we looked at that revenue that it generates. And you ever look at this article, James? It's not even, it's a junior, no disrespect, but it's a junior content writers. I gave him the idea and I said, this is how you probably should structure it, but, go for it. And, it turned out to be pretty successful.
Yeah,
paying his monthly salary. Let me put it that way.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if you find a content cluster and you build that out, and you realize that
What's a content cluster for everyone?
well, it's basically like, say for example, a content cluster is just a range of topics that sit within a group type thing.
Yeah.
So basically, like we found a content cluster for a client at the end of last year. Well, I remember the exact date, but it was like in October or September or something like that. And we basically built out a range of topics with this client on a certain area where we found, okay, they didn't have any content on this topic before. And I thought, like, because this was a pretty established client that had already invested a lot in content, actually in New Zealand market. And then we said, okay, like, let's build out this cluster of these new topics. I'm surprised they haven't done this already. And then we built it out. We built out, I think, as like a test, we did like 8 pages. And then, like, we reviewed it a couple of weeks ago, and we found, oh, okay, the 8 pages have already driven a whole bunch of leads worth thousands of dollars, you know. And then we sent that to the client. We said, look, this content that we've done here, we can attribute these leads to this because they had conversion tracking set up to the pages. And yeah, they were like, whoa, that's great. Like, let's go harder on that cluster and build it out more based on, we looked at like some data statistics about other countries where they could kind of talk about that stuff as well, build it out more, kind of just fill out all the topics. Because that's what you can do. You can find something that's winning in content marketing, in SEO, find a topic that's winning, test it at a small degree. Once you show that it's converting, build it out deeper, you know, and go all in, you know, because clients love that stuff. And I think that's the problem a lot of content marketers make, is they just make content for content's sake. You know, they're just like, oh, let's just let's think about things that, like,
is that content promotion, content outreach?
Well, yeah, like, think about content topics that are just like they're writing them at that time, but they don't think long term, you know. Think about topics that are like evergreen. Think about things that are actually going to drive conversions. Think about, like, what's your ideal customer going to actually be searching for. So stuff like that is always crucial, you know.
And I think, and I think there's certain themes and that your content can be structured around that will work time and time again. The reason that article worked really well upon research and experimentation was convenience. We did a short list of the best products to buy if you're this type of worker, and people type in the best product name for me in this industry, and that's why it generates revenue, because we're saving people time, being an expert in this subject matter because we sell these products, and giving people the options to say, look, these are the best. Even using our commercial data, sales, reviews, like, here is the most 5-star reviewed products, or, you know, using your own data to come up. And I think convenience is a theme in content marketing that I continuously see winning. If you're saving someone's time and you're an expert subject matter, I think that goes a long way.
Yeah, and back to your point about, like, looking at what is actually selling, you know. If something is selling, that is a good sign, because if the product is moving, then you may as well double down on content for something that's converting. I think the problem that a lot of content marketers and SEOs make is they don't focus on what's selling. You know, they try to focus on the shiny new thing, you know, and it might get one sale a year, whereas they've got something sitting right in front of them that's converting 100 times a month. You know, try and build out all the content around the areas that are converting right now. You know,
I agree.
I don't know.
I think a lot of SEOs build content for search volume.
Yeah, like, search volume doesn't mean anything, you know. Like I've got sites where we've got an article on a site and it gets 400 clicks a day on one of our affiliate properties that we own. Like, 400 clicks a day is pretty good for one article, but that article doesn't convert. It's just like informational topic, you know. Like, you might be able to run some display ads on it. You might get a conversion, like, very limited number of conversions each month. But then I have another site where it's like super niche, and we might get like 100 clicks to a piece of content in a week, for example. But that piece of content the sale value is so much higher than the other one, it's not converting. So just because you're getting a lot of traffic doesn't mean it's a win. You can get less traffic that's a higher conversion intent. So
Yeah.
higher value, kind of low volume stuff, can be what is good to go
Yeah.
for sometimes.
And the different contexts around keywords with the transactional, informational, directional, all the rest of it. So all that kind of psychology. You could do a whole podcast just on the psychology of keywords.
Well, yeah, you could, and like what keywords to pick, and just different things around like how to pick those keywords, and just like expectations, because sometimes people might like share a graph and say, oh, like I've had massive traffic growth, but what's your conversions like off the back of that? Are you getting a lot of conversions? Because you want to talk about revenue. Traffic doesn't mean anything. You'd rather be talking about what's successful from a revenue generation point of view. Because like I said, we've got that site with 400 clicks a day, one of the affiliate sites that we own, but it's just not converting that type of content on that site. There's other articles on that site that are converting because it's highly targeted type content.
Yeah, and I've always had the philosophy, mate, that if it's good for users, it's good for SEO, and that's something that I've always sort of lived by in the last 16 years of my career. I based keyword search volume. I based content marketing around trends and user behavior, to some degree, but how we search, how we buy, what we do online should be a huge factor in the content. So what about changing topics? What about some of the various differences in terms of link building for client sites and affiliate? How do you work that in? Because different philosophy behind each, right?
Yeah, well, the thing about link building. The thing about link building in 2023 is I think the first thing you need to think about is like, does the client need link building? Like if they've got really good authority already, there's probably other things like technical and on page and content wins that you can have. That's the first thing. But then, I mean, in terms of link building in 2023 and beyond, what I think you're going to see is I think more around high quality. I think a lot of the guest post farm type stuff has been devalued in recent times. That you see those sites where it's just like they're like
right for us.
Yeah, well, like a all for anything generic type site where it's just like they've got like weddings in the header, and then they've got like finance, and then they've got like I don't know, anything. They could have anything, like all these different topics in the heading, and then an agency will build like 10 of those and give it to the client and say, oh, we've got you 10 links. But really, they could just be wasting their money, because if it's an all for anything type site, I don't think it's going to be adding value. I think what is going to add value is, like, this is what I've been saying for like the last 10 years, relevancy, the relevancy of the domain. If you're getting a wedding link, you want to be on a wedding site, bridal site, within that niche or sub niche relevancy. That's just like, you and me know that, but a lot of agencies and a lot of in-house people still make those mistakes. They might say, oh wow, I've got a high DR link or high domain link, but it doesn't matter, because the site will have no traffic and it's not relevant. So DR of the link is, in my eyes, not as important as the relevancy, traffic. Because if the site has good, relevant traffic from English-speaking markets, it's a sign that it's a quality domain, And like I mean, we're doing a lot of checks with the any link building activity that we do. We look at see if the site's lost a lot of traffic. We look and see if the site is selling casino links or anything like that. A lot of people don't even do these checks. Like, we're doing all these checks for the type of links that we get, just quality checks. Just to ensure that the site is quality. But getting onto .com.au sites is always good as well if you've got Australian clients, or in New Zealand, .co.nz, etc. So, yeah, just quality. I mean, what else are we doing?
Did you
content assets, stuff like that. Yeah.
I want to talk about content assets if we've got time. Did you see the December Google update? Was it around the spam?
Link spam and helpful content. There was a crossover.
Yeah.
There was a crossover of two updates at the same time. So there was the link spam update from Google, and then there was a helpful content update, and they both kind of rolled out at the same time. So there was like a crossover between the two updates. But I think what happened in that update, I think, especially the link spam one, I think a lot of like the sites have been devalued from what
Mhm.
I can see, and I think a lot of
Rather than issuing manual actions.
yeah, like you don't really see that so much anymore. I think we're seeing more so much of like devaluing of domains. And I think like I've seen a bunch of PBN networks get devalued because you still see people doing that in the Australian market, you know, where we've got these PBNs and some of that type of activity's been hit. Some links I feel have been devalued to a certain degree. You just gotta invest in quality, you know?
That's it. And what about your affiliate stuff? Are you in your content? How do you find link acquisitions in terms of your affiliates? Are you still using sort of the content models of attracting them the right way,
Yeah.
or
I mean,
are you using
yeah.
more affiliate-based friendly tactics?
Or like we're just trying to get like relevant links to the sites, you know, like relevancy is high on the list. Like we're still doing content assets, you know, statistics, data, all that type of stuff. That
Yeah,
still works. Like I mean, that's been around for a while now, but it still works.
because
Um,
it's 101, mate. It's always going to work until Google devalues links as a general rule. That 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 strategy of content assets through quality content will always pretty much win.
yeah, 100%. Just trying to think what else has been working well. Like there's, I
Do
mean,
you do
just
much
outreach. Like
outreach? Yeah.
a lot of people seem to be doing link exchanges all of a sudden recently. I don't know why, but that feels like the old days has come back. Like I've been getting big brands hitting up some sites that we own, even our agency domain, and say, like, would you be open to a link exchange? And I'm talking about like massive, well-known brands pushing link exchanges now. So I don't know why. Like I'm seeing that coming up again, link exchanges. I don't know. It feels like the
2009 is rolling by.
2007 Andrew Glyntzos trying to get a link exchange from one of his sites, but I'm seeing people doing that again, you know. And it's like someone said to me recently. They used a quote. They said, "Everything that is old is new again." So that was an interesting quote, but it kind of it makes sense, you know. People are
So we're going
trying
to go
some of
back to
these.
blog comment spam.
Well, I hope not. You'd be surprised. I saw we ordered a project recently for a job, and the current agency, like their marquee strategies were forum and blog comment
Oh
links
boy.
for for this client, and I was just like, oh, like 2005's calling. You know, they want their strategies back, but people are still doing these type of shenanigans in the market, and clients are not aware of like what's a quality link and what's like a forum link that's just low value and is outsourced, you know. So I don't know, man.
Wow.
There's crazy shenanigans happening still in the market.
Forum and who was that? There was like a famous link builder in America that used to like swear by forum link building when I was like learning SEO back in like 2017. Oh wait,
I forget. There's been all sorts of
Damon something. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Um, yeah, I was like, oh yeah, this is cool. That was sort of before the no follow tag was a thing as well.
Well, that's the other thing as well. Like sometimes people get these forum links and they're just all no follow anyway, so they're not passing off any value to the client. But they're not going to tell the client what is a no follow and what's a follow link as well. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, we've been able to secure you 15 links this month, and then the client's like, oh wow, 15 links, you know, and they're 15 forum links that are all no follow. So they're not going to be adding a lot of value for that client. But it's just whatever someone's trying to sell, you know.
Did
And
you?
yes,
Sorry, James. Okay, there's like a delay. Sorry, go on. No. I don't want to interrupt.
I was just saying, like it's whatever people are selling, you know, which is upsetting because people are selling trash, you know, and they're trying to market it as quality. So
Did you see that? I think I did send you some of the links. I think I might have done a post on LinkedIn about it where I showed like an example of his jeweler that got absolutely just abused by their current SEO with bad links. I was pretty firm with them, and I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know what's happening. I saw the link spam update. I did email them to say, look, this spam update came out. How's your traffic? I haven't heard back. You think there's any chance if it's pretty? I mean, they're a jeweler. They're getting links from racing123.com, which is they were just all link farms and VPNs and things like that. You think there's any chance? Because if Google's only going to devalue, not manually penalize, do you think that's going to be more of a reason for giving everything a crack, and then maybe 10% of your blackout spam will not get devalued? Do you think that anything you can still do to an extent that I could probably go, hey, I've had this podcast with all respect to the SEO that thinks if you keep doing this, because from my opinion, it's like, well, then what's the risk of any sort of dodgy blackout SEO agency to be like, well, let's just push the buttons as far as we can go?
I think what you still need to do, and this is what we always push, is like anything that could potentially cause you harm, you want to disavow it, And in terms of what could be harm, it could be like someone blasts your site with like 1,000 root domains, all with the same anchor text, Like it could be an over optimization type spam attack on a site. So if someone hits you with all these like adult links and spammy links and like negative SEO, the negative SEO would look like commercial anchor text blast, which could actually drop you in the rankings, That's the type of stuff you still need to disavow. That's always the rhetoric that we have, because I still see that in certain markets where people will like blast a site with some spammy anchor text, or it will just be like a high use of commercial anchor text at a huge degree. So I think you should still disavow stuff like that. Disavow anything that's going to cause you harm, but you don't want to go disavow crazy. Like I've seen people where they've just given like an intern the job of disavowing links, and then the intern has just gone on to like Ahrefs and just downloaded a list of all their linking root domains, and then just hit disavow. Read like a guide how to write a disavow file on, and then they've disavowed a huge amount of links to their site. I saw that happen once in the past. It was crazy.
That's a catastrophe. That is not a junior's. That's not anyone who hasn't had experience. I still don't like to disavow if I can at all avoid it. I would like. I mean, the way I see it is, I've done it, and I have done it where I've had to, in terms of other SEOs doing really bad work, or I've done it most of the time when the client's already done it themselves. I see it as like this guilt admission. Hey, look, we've done some dodgy work in the past, like, hey, Google, we've done some dodgy work in the past, and we're trying to disavow. Now, obviously, it can come from a situation where you've been negative SEO'd, or those extreme situations where you've mentioned, but just using this file without a lot of careful consideration and a lot of well thought out reasons just seems like not a good idea. And if you can remove the links themselves, try that route, because you'll find that a lot of these dodgy PBNs will go bust anyway.
Well, that's the thing, like I think clients just got to be aware of like what's quality and what's not quality, and definitely 100%. Still need to hire like a quality practitioner to do this type of activity. I think that's the thing. Like you can't rely on like ChatGPT or an intern to do SEO. You still need an expert to review the output, like you can't rely on these automation and things like that, because the thing about SEO is like you need the expert to come in and provide the input, like you need someone like yourself, Andrew, to come in, and you've got like your 15 years of experience or whatever, and like it inside out. You can't get someone who's just started or an automation tool to do your job, because you're the consultant who is the expert, and you've already seen these patterns, and there's a huge level of creativity and all that, But
if I get a website that is got a lot of spam, I know for a fact you are better than I am at dealing with that, because I've probably done it 4 to 5 times in 16 years, and I don't like doing it. I don't want to do it, and And I write, like, for me, it's almost like if you've been hit with this stuff, unless I really feel sorry for you, and even then I'll be like, hey, James is better at getting rid of link spam than I am.
It just depends how much link spam it is. Like we get people that contact us, and like 98% of their link profile is just spam, and it's just like sometimes it's easier just to say like it depends. Like sometimes you have to say like just start a new business name, like things like that.
That's
but
crazy.
like, it depends on the size of the business, because we've had it where it's like a really well-known business, and they're like, "Look, we can't do a rebrand. We're so well known. We've been around for 40 years or whatever. We have to keep our company name, but can you fix it up?" And you just say like, "I can't tell you how long this is going to take, but this is like an action plan that we're going to do. These are all the things we're going to fix up." Because when you see spammy links, that also means there's like spammy on-site content, low quality on-site SEO practice. It's the works. Like it's like a complete rebuild. It's like buying a house that's been run down. You got to come in there and you got to do a full rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
You take it back to the foundations and basically rebuild it all. And it's a big job. And it's the same with SEO.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I'm running an experiment. I just written an article, "Is SEO worth it in 2023?" by ChatGPT, right? So Google apparently devalues it, doesn't rank it, or penalizes it. So I've written an article, put the author as ChatGPT, and I'm just seeing what Google sort of does with it, because I haven't done a lot of experiments, James. And as you know, SEOs at their root, if they're a true SEO, loves to experiment. So I actually told Google that this article is 100% ChatGPT content. And I'm just going to see what they do with it. Probably nothing. It's going to be interesting how that pans out. So, to wrap things up, James, what's your best, tangible is the word for it? What would be some of the best pieces of advice? I mean, you've got, in 2023, we've got AI. The impact of AI and SEO. You still can't do technical SEO with a chatbot. It's going to be interesting how that pans out. SEO's got obviously Google's AI to combat with. Do you see? Okay, I'll ask the question differently. Do you see in 2023 anything majorly shifting with Google in terms of their search quality guidelines? Do you see them devaluing any traditional ranking factors for AI-based more machine learning? I mean, you had Rank Brain. They've done a bit of it, right? They've done bits and pieces with AI and Rank Brain and things like that. Do you see AI machine learning becoming a bigger impact, or things that we need to be concerned as business owners in the SEO community? Or do you think Google will still be very much just talking a big game, but still relying on traditional links to carry them through?
Well, I think the thing is with like AI tools like ChatGPT, it's like they're nothing new. Like AI has been used in SEO for a number of years now. Like there's a lot of people have been producing content with AI for a long time. Like I know SEOs have been building AI sites for ages, but the risk of like going all in on like AI is like, you don't know, Google could hit it. A lot of AI sites I've seen have actually been smashed. I think AI will only get you to a certain point. I think you can use AI tools to help you with like structure and give you heading ideas and stuff like that. But in terms of actually writing content and doing SEO, I think you need like a industry professional. Even with writing, like I wouldn't get like ChatGPT to write a medical article. You need someone who's a medical professional to review it, because it can pull in wrong information. Also, the problem with ChatGPT is it's like older database. So I think there's a date in like 2021 or there's a certain cutoff date. So relevancy on freshness is not really there with it yet, but because it's not hooked up to the internet. But I think you got to use these tools to test them and see like how they work, and like we use all of them like to try play around with them. but you still have to get people to do the work at the end of the day. Like, that's the good thing about SEO. Like, they're still going to need a professional to consult. Still going to need a professional to like help do this stuff.
What about in terms of the rank of Google's ranking? Do you ranking
In
factors
terms of Google rankings, like
or assessing their quality guidelines? Do you think it's going to go more into AI?
well, the Google said it like the other day that it's okay to use AI in content if it's like basically if it's reviewed. I guess that they said that because like there's been a few financial websites in the US that have used it. People on Twitter are constantly sharing it. I don't know. It's risky though because
Well, do you think they're going to go away from links as their major SEO ranking? Like, I mean,
I still think links will matter. Like maybe
it
they'll
will matter,
drop
but
a little bit, but like maybe the value of links will drop a little bit. But I still feel like fundamentals are still going to matter. Like you still have to have an SEO friendly site. Still has to be indexable. Like like all that stuff is going to matter. You still like authority of the site is still important in competitive verticals. Sure, in a low competition niche, you can probably rank without links, but that's a low competition niche. That's not like finance or industries like that, So, I mean, Google probably will bring out their own version of ChatGPT because I know Microsoft's invested in ChatGPT, or they were trying to. So, the ChatGPT, you're gonna have to start paying for it soon. I think they're $42 a month. Yeah, they're trying to make people cough up some cash for. There's going to be some new use of it, with like advanced features and always on uptime, no downtime, something like that. Google will probably come out with their own type of assistant. I know there's already been talk of that in the medical niche, and I don't know. You got to watch the space, and you got to test everything. You got to be at the forefront of these type of tools because they're constantly coming out. You got to be testing them because clients start asking questions. They're like, "Oh, what are your thoughts on this or that?" And you gotta give them answers. But I think what also is going to be interesting is like AI detection. So like AI watermarks and stuff like that, tools that kind of can detect AI content. And yeah, like it was funny because there was an agency in Sydney that was smashing out a lot of sales emails recently using AI, and then one of our clients used an AI detector and said, he goes, they could have sent me a more personalized message. This is all AI. He used like AI detection tool and picked it up. So he's like, he called him out on that. So that was interesting. But I don't know, man. It's ever evolving. The SEO space. There's always new stuff coming out.
Yeah, awesome, James. Thank you so much. And you can catch James Norquay on prosperitymedia.com.au. James, did you want to send out any email address or?
Just prosperitymedia.com.au. We got the conference in April 14th, Sydney SEO conference. I hope you can make it down for that, Andrew.
Yeah, I'll do my best.
Clear the schedule.
I've got a VIP link, which I appreciate.
Yeah, clear the schedule, Andrew, because we want you coming down for that. We've got some good speakers coming out from overseas. It's in the Amora Jamison Hotel in the city. So yeah, it's going to be hopefully around 200 SEO professionals coming down for that. So if you want your SEO fix for a day, come down and meet some SEOs or people involved with digital. It's going to be a good day. Some good speakers. All the topics, EAT, ChatGPT, content.
Cool.
I think it cut out a bit.
He did. On LinkedIn, send me all the links to that again, and I'll put it in the description of this video if you're watching it on YouTube, where you can listen to James speak. James, you speak quite a lot. So do you have
not really? Maybe like once every 3 months, but
that's more than most, mate.
Yeah, but we're just trying to put on a cheap and not cheap, but like affordable event for people to come down to. So I'll share the link. I'll even give people 10% off to come.
Oh wow!
Viewers of your show, Andrew, can give you a custom discount code. So yeah, give them 10% off, and it'll make it even more affordable. So
you got more viewers than I do. Thanks a lot, James. I appreciate your time, Andrew. Buddy.
Thanks, mate.
We'll have to do this again very soon.
All right. See ya. Bye.